Good morning, Tuesday. Hey, we're still on the region, and that's about how many people live in Phoenix alone here. So if that helps you get a little bit of an understanding, let's move down to Maine. They did go up in population from 2000 to 2010, but 1.3 million people in the entire state. There's about that in half of Phoenix. Now, if you're wondering why it's 2000, 2010, you might be hearing a lot of commercials about, fill out the census. Every 10 years, our country puts out a census, and what that really does is to count the people. That's why these numbers are here. Again, look at Massachusetts, how many people there. Wow, 6.5 million. That's a big state. That's about the amount of people that live in the whole state of Arizona. But most of the people in Massachusetts live in Boston, right? Look at Vermont going all the way down. Whoa. Not a big state, of course, but wow, not a lot of people. Not even 1 million people live in the entire state. If you're wondering, right here is the category. If you take the entire country, there's 50 states, right? So this ranks them as the amount of how many people are in your state. You're the most people in the country? Nope, that would actually be California. They'd be number one. But look at way down here. Some of these states are some of the lowest in our country as far as how many people actually live in those states. Now, here's what I think is a neat type of graph here. This shows how many people are either moving into the area or moving out of the area. Now, in this case, we're going back to when we learned about maps. You got to look at the key, right? You got to look at what the colors mean. Purple, in this case, is good for a state. That means there's people moving into your state or into your area. Orange and red is bad for a state. That means people are moving out of the area. I'm going to go to the state where I grew up in Illinois. Right now, not a lot of people want to live in Illinois. High taxes. The state is bankrupt. Not really a lot of good things happening in Illinois. I still like Illinois where I grew up, but take a look at us in Arizona. Look at this. A lot of people moving into this, and we're about right here, and Phoenix is about right here. So more people moving in. Look at Washington. A lot of people moving to Washington. And then again, a lot of these states look like they're losing a lot of people, but some of these areas in Massachusetts, Vermont, and southern Maine, those are actually gaining in people. Oh man, look at New York and Pennsylvania, West Virginia. A lot of people moving out of those states for whatever reason. But at any rate, kind of an interesting map, I thought. But when we're talking about populations, when we're talking about people, we can also talk about the capital cities. Now, this map had the whole Northeast states, so it had our New England states plus some. I kind of boxed that up. We're not dealing with New York and Pennsylvania. That's coming up later. I want just to focus on these 6 states. Now, in yesterday's assignment, they gave you the capital city, and you have to give the state name. Well, today's opposite. They give you the state name, but you have to write in the capital city's name. Now, please don't get confused, because sometimes in your maps and the communities books, it gives a lot of different cities. The capital city usually has the star in it. Usually that's how they signify the capital city. So make sure you're writing that city. And again, some of these states are so small and tiny, that's why they have these arrows here. But I want you to write the capital city's name. And basically, the capital city, that's where all the state government happens. For instance, I know Arizona is not a New England state, but in Arizona, the state capital is Phoenix. Now, for us, Phoenix is the biggest city in Arizona by far. Doesn't mean that the biggest city in each state is always a capital city. It just so happens to be the way for Arizona. But in Phoenix, you can go to what's called the Capitol Building. That's where all the state legislators meet, and they do laws for the state of Arizona. When they meet in Phoenix, Arizona, They are not talking about federal laws or nation laws. They're talking about Arizona state laws. That's what happens in the capital city. So that these stars are not the biggest, most important, coolest city. That means it's the capital city where the state government happens. Sometimes, like Massachusetts, the state capital is Boston. It is the biggest city. Other times it's not at all. It's not at all. So you need to fill in the capital cities here of each state. That's the assignment. Lord's blessings to you guys today as you praise the Savior.